Hello everyone, today we are breaking down Season 1, Episode 6, Rare Species of The Witcher. The timeline for this episode has changed from the last. So let's say Ciri is in the present, Yennefer and Geralt's timeline is 6 years before those events. The first thing we see is Jaskier working on a new song waiting for Geralt to return from a cave. These two paid Geralt to kill a beast. They do not say in the show what he is hunting, but in the books we know it is a basilisk. Basilisks have bird-like beaks, webbed wings, hooked talons, and crimson dewlaps. One of the men starts to unsaddle Geralt's horse, Roach, and rob the Witcher because he believes Geralt is dead because it has been an hour. Jaskier tells the men to stop, but they do not listen. 3 random strangers then come to the assistance of the bard, an old man with 2 ladies. The old man tells the robbers to do as the bard says or he will be forced to draw his weapons. The robbers push the old man, and one of the ladies gets behind the robber and snaps his neck. Geralt then returns with the monster's head. The other robber puts down Geralt's belongings and pays the Witcher for his services. We then find out who the 3 strangers are. The one in the middle is Borch 3 Jackdaws, Taya is on the left, and Vea is on the right. They have been looking for Geralt. By the way, the 2 women are Zerrikanian, who are known for their fighting prowess. Zerrikanians are also known to worship dragons and make sacrifices before images of said creatures, and their religion was founded upon a legend of a gold dragon. Borch tells Geralt that they need help to slay a green dragon that landed in King Nidamir's mountains. The king was set to marry a princess from a rival kingdom, but with a dragon lurking around, he is concerned that might ruin the marriage proposal, especially since the dragon was enraged after some common folk tried to kill it so they could have the dragon's treasure. So the king commissioned a hunt to kill it. 4 teams have signed on. The winner gets the dragon's treasure, plus the title of a lord over one of his new vassal states. There are multiple different kinds of dragons. There are green dragons, which are the most common, red dragons, which are less common, and black dragons, which are the rarest. Some also believe that there is a gold dragon, but that is just a myth. Dragons can either breathe fire, acid, or steam at opponents. Geralt explains that he does not hunt dragons to Borch. He does not give a reason for it in the books or the TV show. He tells Borch no treasure is worth dying for, meaning dragons are too dangerous to bother with. Borch says depends on the treasure. What I need is a new adventure. One final first before I'm too old to do anything but die. Borch believes with Geralt on his team they would be unstoppable. Borch then points out who else will be going on this hunt. A team of dwarves and a team of reavers. Geralt still wants nothing to do with the hunt. Jaskier asks who the 4th team is. Just then the 4th team walks in. A young knight with Yennefer. Geralt and Yennefer lock eyes. Geralt looks like he has a sense of longing for her. And Yennefer looks like she is somewhat sad. She quickly looks away from Geralt, acting as though he is not there. Something clearly has happened between the 2 since the last episode where they had sex. We find out what that is later in the episode. Jaskier was all for the dragon hunt until he saw Yennefer. Now he wants nothing to do with it. Geralt, after seeing Yennefer as part of one of the teams, is now all for going on the dragon hunt. Jaskier knows how Yennefer's presence can make Geralt do things he usually wouldn't do, and doesn't want Geralt distracted, especially if they are facing a creature as dangerous as a dragon. Yennefer also threatened to cut off Jaskier's dick last episode, and one does not forget something like that. It is the next morning, and we find out that the leader of the team of dwarves is Yarpen Zigrin, and he is complaining that the Reavers had stolen his pack, already creating bad blood between the 2 teams. The leader of the Reavers is Bolholt. The Reavers are just mercenaries for hire and are taking part in this expedition. The team of dwarves are actually professional dragon slayers. Yennefer then goes up to Geralt and Jaskier. We then find out Yennefer is riding with the noble Sir Ike of Densel in the quest to kill a dragon. She leaves Geralt and walks to Sir Ike. Yennefer and Sir Ike's relationship is perhaps more than just friends. Geralt can see this and he is visibly annoyed. We then find ourselves with Ciri, Mousak, and Dara. But remember, this isn't the real Mousak. This is a Doppler impersonating him. Ciri is asking him a bunch of questions about Geralt and the Law of Surprise. The Doppler is clearly getting annoyed about this, but he has to continue to play this game. They are just exiting the Brokilon forest, and they have a long walk ahead of them. Dara starts questioning Mousak how he was able to escape. Mousak tells him that Nilfgaard grabbed him through a portal, and that Geralt saved him, and sent him to get Ciri. Dara doesn't see the logic in that. Why would Geralt rescue Mousak to send him to rescue Ciri alone? The Doppler dodges the question and tells him to ask Geralt when they see him. Dara tells Ciri of his suspicions, saying Mousak might be working for Nilfgaard. The Doppler overhears this. He then brings out her grandmother's sash. Ciri, being excited, grabs it, distracting her from what Dara said. The Doppler hugs Ciri and starts walking at a faster pace. Ciri starts to slow, but the Doppler makes sure she keeps pace, not wanting to fail his mission. Ciri starts asking him questions about Skellig and the cold, and if he missed his home. He said he did very much. Ciri catches him in a lie. The real Mousak hated the cold, and that Skellig was where he came from, but he said Sintra was his home. So Dopplers are supposed to have all the knowledge of the person they transform into, so the Doppler should have been able to answer these questions correctly. The only thing I could think of is that the Doppler was getting annoyed, and wasn't realizing that the questions that were being asked were to try and incriminate him, and he wasn't giving much thought to them. Mousak throws Ciri to the ground, telling her they killed Mousak and took his disgusting form. Dara tries to stab him with a knife. The Doppler easily grabs it, but it burns him, being silver, and as we know, silver hurts Dopplers, and long enough exposure can turn them back into their natural form. We then see the Doppler's natural form. Dara interrogates him, asking him why Nilfgaard is after Ciri. Ciri tells Dara it's because she is special. She doesn't know why or how. Ciri tells Dara to kill the Doppler. Dara hesitates. Ciri then grabs the knife from him, saying she will do it herself. The Doppler is allowed enough time to knock out Dara. Ciri makes a couple of attempts to slash at the Doppler, but misses. The Doppler disarms her. Ciri then takes off running into the woods, leaving Dara alone with the Doppler. We then see Ciri running, and she gets captured by a Nilfgaardian soldier. She is brought to Cahir, who kidnapped her in the first episode. He tells her that he wants to help her fulfill her destiny, that it was never his intention to torment her. He offers her a drink, but she refuses. Cahir is confused by this. She's been running around the woods for weeks, and she refuses a drink? The cup is made out of silver. Cahir realizes that the Doppler was disguised as Ciri. The Doppler transforms into Cahir. He says, "You didn't tell us what she was, what she is capable of, her having elder blood." The two Cahirs fight. The Doppler gets a scar across his cheek and flees the building. We then find out that the Doppler was able to catch Ciri and tie her to a tree. Luckily for her, Dara was able to find her and untie her. He's angry with Ciri, saying how she should have listened to him, that they should have stayed in the Brokilon forest like he wanted. Dara says she brings death and terror wherever she goes. Dara tells Ciri she will have to find a new family, and leaves Ciri alone in the woods. Dara is a character specifically to the show. He is not in the books. They didn't kill him off, so he could appear in later seasons. We return to Jaskier, trying to understand why the Zerrikanians would let Borch come with them on this hunt. They tell Jaskier to hunt with him is an honor unsullied by payment. Jaskier asks why. They say because he is the most beautiful, which confuses Jaskier even more. Taya and Vea are following Borch because he is in fact a golden dragon. As I said earlier in the video, Zerrikanians worship dragons, and their entire religion was founded upon a legend of a golden dragon. So they are hunting with somebody they worship, making it a great honor. The special thing about golden dragons is that they can transform into any living being, like a human male, as we see throughout the episode with Borch. They speak through telepathy, which means they can also read minds, which plays an important role later in the episode. Geralt and Borch walk behind Yennefer and Ike. Borch realizes something and says to Geralt, "You worry if you blink, you'll never see her again. You're in love with her." Her meaning Yennefer. Geralt tries to play it off, suggesting that she is the real danger, not the dragon. This shows that Geralt is still afraid to show how he really feels. He tries to cover it up with snide remarks. even though everyone can see how he truly feels. Geralt and Borch look at the destruction caused by the dragon. Geralt doesn't understand the retaliation. Dragons avoid people. Borch tells him that the beasts are getting more desperate because the species is on the edge of extinction. Throughout the episode, Jaskier tries to hit on the Zerrikanians by doing what he thinks are noble deeds. Taya and Vea just roll their eyes at the bard's attempts. Jaskier is going to get some berries for the ladies when he comes face to face with a Harika. Not much information about this creature, though it is said to be rarer than a dragon. Geralt tells everyone to sheathe their weapons. The beast is starving and is no danger to them. Sir Ike has other plans, though, and charges the beast. He easily defeats it and mutilates the body. Geralt and his team watch in disgust with what the knight did. Yennefer then runs up to Sir Ike saying, "You could have been killed," and comforts the knight, which disgusts Geralt even more. We then see Sir Ike eating the creature. Borch advises against this, but he says a knight never wastes a kill. Sir Ike really just wants the lordship. That is why he's on this hunt, and he says Yennefer will be his mage, which is surprising, since the last episode she said she was done serving kings. Why would she downgrade to serve a lord instead? It could mean that she has changed her mind, or she could be plotting to do something else and using Sir Ike. Yennefer tells Sir Ike she can't wait to serve him. Just at that time, Bolholt, the leader of the Reavers, comments how she could serve him tonight. Geralt tells Bolholt to be careful. Geralt's still coming to the aid of Yennefer, showing his true feelings again. Bolholt threatens Geralt's life and then walks away, showing there will be a clash between the Reavers and the rest of the teams. Sir Ike then begins to have stomach problems and is about to shit himself. Yennefer asks if he will join her in his tent. Ike says he would never degrade her honor in such a way, meaning the two haven't slept together, which I would say is a plus for Geralt. They then talk some politics on how the rightful son of Nilfgaard has returned, burning through the south. They say it won't be long until he heads north and tries to take Cintra or any of the other northern kingdoms. Jaskier says Queen Calanthe would die before that happens, foreshadowing the events of the future, even though they're in the first episode. Borch says, perhaps if Nilfgaard's religious zeal had been tempered earlier by a stronger hand, looking at Yennefer while he says this, as if he knows that Yennefer was supposed to go to Nilfgaard, and she wouldn't have been pushed around like Fringilla, making it less likely that Nilfgaard would invade the northern kingdoms. As I said earlier in the episode, he has telepathy, so he's probably able to read Yennefer's mind. It is the next morning, and Yennefer is looking for Sir Ike. Yarpen finds the knight with his pants around his ankles and his throat slit. Yennefer is visibly angry, but the hunt continues. Yarpen believes that one of the Reavers killed Sir Ike. Yarpen suggests a truce between his group and Borch's until the next peak. Yarpen says he knows a shortcut which could cut off half a day of their journey, easily getting to the dragon cave before the Reavers. Borch agrees and follows Yarpen. Geralt tells Jaskier to go on. He'll catch up and he runs after Yennefer. Geralt asks Yennefer if she killed Ike, which is confusing because why would she kill him? He would be far more likely of a suspect, which she even says, "You're the one who's been staring daggers at him since we arrived." Yennefer also believes it was the Reavers who did it. We then find out that she was just using the knight. Geralt asked why she's actually here. She says she's here for the dragon. She tells Geralt that it is rumored that dragons have certain healing properties. This confuses Geralt, saying, "Didn't your transformation heal all your parts for you?" Yennefer says yes, but at the cost of losing others. Yennefer wants the dragon because she believes that it will cure her infertility. Geralt starts to smile and laugh even, figuring out that Yennefer has traveled all this way for a made-up fertility cure. She screams at him that they aren't made up. Geralt stands by his belief. He then tells her he thinks she would make a terrible mother. Yennefer seems to want the option more than anything, saying, "They took my choice. I want it back." Meaning if she ever finds the right guy, she could then start a family. Geralt tells her, "The people who made us, they made us sterile for a lot of reasons. One of the kinder ones is because this lifestyle isn't suited to a child." Geralt says he has thought about this a lot. that he would not want his child surprise to be subjected to this life. Yennefer looks at him with astonishment. Geralt then realizes what he said. Yennefer then says, "You lecture me on made-up cures for having a child. Meanwhile, you cheat with destiny to steal one." Geralt regrets talking to her, saying he says more in 5 minutes with her than he does in weeks. He tells Yennefer that the dwarves are leading them to a shorter path and to come with him. We get to the shorter path, and it happens to be an old wooden walkway built on a side of a mountain. Yarpen defends the route, saying it is perfectly safe. Yennefer adds, "Yeah, for a dwarf." The group starts their crossing. While crossing, a board breaks, and Borch, Thea, and Vea fall. But they are able to grab onto a chain. Geralt was able to catch the chain, and the three are hanging over the abyss. Borch tells Geralt to let go of the chain, but Geralt refuses to. Borch looks at Geralt and says, "Thank you," and releases his grip, falling into the abyss. Thea and Vea follow suit. We then find that the dwarves and Geralt, Yennefer, and Jaskier are setting up camp for the night. Jaskier goes up to Geralt and talks about mortality and how life is too short. Jaskier says, "Do what pleases you while you can." Jaskier is having a little bit of a crisis at this moment. He says he doesn't know what pleases him. He doesn't know what will make him happy and what will make him feel whole. Geralt hears these words and heads towards Yennefer's tent because, as the bard says, life is short. Might as well spend it with somebody you love. After this traumatic experience, Geralt tells Yennefer that the mountain took his nonsense away. He is finally ready to commit to her. We then find out that Geralt actually left Yennefer in Rind after the first time the two had sex. Geralt also explains how Yennefer has left him as well. He says he dreads the moment when her scent of lilac and gooseberries fades completely, and that she is really gone. This shows the connection between the two characters. It's not just lust, there is love there too. Geralt asks Yennefer to forgive him. The two kiss and then have sex. After the act came to its natural conclusion, Yennefer asks Geralt about Witchers not having emotions. Geralt says people just say that to justify despising his kind, saying that the notion is false, that they do have emotions. Geralt asks Yennefer why she wants to become a mother. Yennefer says because she wants to be important to someone. And Geralt actually doesn't fuck it up and says, "Well, you're important to me." The two fall asleep in each other's arms. They both wake up and neither has left, which is progress from before. Geralt is thinking they would head back from the way they came. Yennefer is still not ready to give up on the expedition, saying, "I came here for a reason. I'm not leaving until I kill that dragon," still believing she can cure her infertility with the dragon's heart. Yennefer then notices that the dwarves have already left, and she runs towards the dragon's lair with Geralt chasing her. Yennefer is able to catch up with the dwarves and freezes them in place. She heads into the dragon's cave, where she finds a wounded green dragon protecting her egg. We then find out that Thea and Vea are still alive and demanding Yennefer to stay back from the dragon. Remember, Borch is a golden dragon. He was able to transform himself before falling to his death and was able to fly up and catch the Zerrikanians, saving them. Yennefer, looking at the dragon some more, realizes that it is dead. A gold dragon then appears. It reveals to Yennefer and Geralt that it is actually Borch, and his real name is Villa Totenmith. Villa Totenmith heard the cry from the dragon. The dragon's egg cannot be moved or the life inside would die. Earlier in the episode, Geralt mentions how dragons usually avoid people, but this one attacked. It was attacking to protect its egg. When Thea and Vea heard about the king's hunt, they knew they needed to keep their enemies close. That is why they were traveling with the teams. They asked for Geralt's assistance because he was taught to save dragons, not to kill them. He could help defend the egg if need be. The Reavers appear behind Geralt and Yennefer, and the fight begins to defend the dragon egg. During the fight, Yennefer tells Geralt to use the Sign of Ard, which is a thrust of telekinetic energy throwing opponents back. Signs are simple spells that all Witchers use. He kisses Yennefer while doing this. This is not necessary for the sign. I assume they did this because it was just kind of the heat of the moment, I guess. Geralt and Yennefer protect the entrance of the cave while Villa Totemeth protects the egg. We get to see the dragon breathe fire, which is pretty cool. A lot of my friends complain how bad the dragon looks. I do commend them for going for a different look at least. They could have just copied what Game of Thrones did or even what the Hobbit movies did. They went with a more original design with their dragon. But the CGI isn't great. It's like Season 2 Game of Thrones level. Yennefer kills Boholt and they were able to save the dragon egg. Jaskier is just now getting up and realizing that he is alone. Jaskier runs to the cave and finds that the dwarves are still somewhat frozen from Yennefer's spell. The Zerrikanians sneak up on Jaskier, which scares the crap out of him. We then see Borch back in his human form, offering the dwarves the green dragon's teeth to prove the dragon's demise to the king so they can get their reward. Borch thanks Geralt and Yennefer for helping him save the egg. He then says he sees why Geralt didn't want to lose her. Yennefer questions the meaning behind this. Geralt then tells her that he made a wish with the djinn. Yennefer starts to question the way she feels about Geralt. She says it's not real. It's because of magic. I can't escape you because of magic. Geralt insists that it is real. The two have an argument. Geralt saying some very hurtful things, saying how a child would not boost her fragile ego. Yennefer saying, I will take advice from you about children as soon as you take responsibility for the one you bound to yourself and then abandoned. Borch says, that's enough! I'm going to save you both a lot of hurt, with a little pain now. The sorceress will never regain her womb, and though you didn't want to lose her, Geralt, you will. Pretty much destroying their relationship. For what reason, I don't know. Borch probably thought Yennefer deserved the truth about the wish, allowing her some free will to either be with Geralt or not. Borch tells Geralt that his legacy is still out there, his destiny. He is obviously talking about Ciri. Geralt is bound to her. There is no escaping destiny. After Borch leaves, Geralt blames Jaskier for the child's prize. For the djinn, everything can be traced back to him. Geralt then says, if life could give me one blessing, it would be to take you off my hands. Jaskier is very sad now, and says he will get the story from the others, and then says, see you around, Geralt, and leaves. We then find ourselves with Nilfgaard. Fringilla is tending Cahir's wounds. She says they are searching for Ciri and the Doppler. Fringilla says they will spread their supremacy all through the kingdoms, whether they deserve it or not, saying Nilfgaard will rule over all the kingdoms soon enough. What did you guys think of episode 6? Leave it down in the comments below, and if you want more Witcher content, please subscribe, and also check out the Twitter, link in the description below, and as always, have an awesome day.